Uh, Good afternoon, friends. In fact, I'm one of the national trainers and national facilitators for natural farming. I'm a certified trainer, and I'm also the national facilitator. You can see from the certificate here. And this is my biodata. I think they've already shared with you. You can always get into me on the email, the WhatsApp, and so on. And very quickly, yeah, I'm basically a BSc AG, MSc AG guy. I'm a graduated from University of Agriculture Science, Bangalore, and then had a PhD from IRA, Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Have about 32 years of service in ICR. Prior to that, I worked for the banking system. I was a field officer in Vijaya Bank and a Gramin Bank manager myself. And in 85, I think many of you are not born. I was an agriculture officer in the Department of Agriculture. I was working at Gulbarga. That's how my career started. So I have come from the grassroots and the field, and now I am here. So I also have an MBA. I teach PGDM, Postgraduate Diploma in Management for the NIAM, Manage and NAM. I was a national trainer even at NAM. So anyway, I've been trained at ISB and ISM. That's for you. See, now very quickly we go ahead. See, today, people get confused between natural farming, organic farming, inorganic farming, and all that. But let me tell you, I think a fundamental BSc thing, the nitrogen which is taken up by the plants, whether organic or inorganic, is taken in the ionic form. It is always N plus, the 14, the atomic weight is 14 of nitrogen. So if it is an isotope, it may have N16 and 18, and that's how the isotope analysis is done. So suppose if I put an organic product in front of you, cannot just say whether it has taken up from the inorganic fertilizer or it has taken up from the organic form, because it's basically taken in the ionic form. See, now, recently, the entire Sri Lanka crisis, which are saying they went organic, they banned the import of fertilizers and pesticides. I think you know what is the Sri Lankan crisis, very quickly related to organic farming. See, because normally in a natural farming, the yields are less when you don't apply external inputs, only using the natural input, obviously the cow dung at the center, and then the entire flora and fauna, which is already available in the nature or where you're doing farming. So that has to rejuvenate. That's why it's called as rejuvenated agriculture. I think there's one more term people also talk about it. So now Sri Lanka went into this, and 23.45% they grow paddy, rest is all tea, rubber, and cashew. And then they were not self-sufficient in paddy. And maybe some of the wrong policies, and China giving a huge loan. And China also told, we will give you some organic supplements. So there was a compulsory, contract, and they had to buy it up. So somebody then down the line said, no, they have put a lot of pests and diseases into that organic supplements, and kindly don't take it. So that's how Sri Lanka ended up in a crisis. I'll discuss when we go ahead. And government also promoting, Indian government, the promotion of organic and natural farming, coming with the Paramparagat Krishi Abhiyan and Vikas Yojana. And then, you see, right in Bangalore, most of you are in Bangalore, there are so many lakes. The present majestic bus stand was called as Dharmambudhi Lake. I was a young boy, and there used to be a lake. And my grandfather used to take me for a circus. I think it was some national circus, I remember. So a lot of water there. See, today Dharmambudhi Lake has become majestic bus stand, just right to the thing. So why did you kill the natural reservoirs? I can show you in Bangalore, the Sampangi Lake, the Damlur Lake, Miller Lake, they are all become residential layouts today. So why did you kill these natural lakes? And are they not the aquifers? Are they not the recharge points? And then similarly, in a natural farming, but just because you apply external inputs, is it that you are going to kill the flora and fauna and the water bodies and all that? And then, in Hindi, there's a saying, apni pair par kulhadi marna. That means putting a big iron hammer on your leg. So nobody does it. So the whole natural farming is coming with the issue that you are going to actually rejuvenate whatever is there in the flora and fauna in the soil, the water bodies. And then, we are now looking at a more climate responsive input rather than an input responsive input. I repeat this, and this is going to be the key word for the next half an hour, which we're going to make the presentation. I want my varieties, I want my yields which to be climate responsive. Suppose high altitude region, okay, or especially in Kerala, when you see the that paddy cultivation is below the sea level. So, Padashekarams are actually, they are paddy lands which are below the sea level. But, the Kerala farmers have invented a long ago a method so that the seawater does not enter the fresh water. So that has now become an FAO site. So like that, so Padashekaram is actually classified as one of the natural farmings. So how did people come out with all this thing? A little sensitivity. See, high yielding variety program and green revolution, they're all right. But killing your lakes, killing your flora, killing your fauna, okay, then bringing some external inputs, bringing high yielding varieties, bring it, no problem. Larma Roju, okay, we are the IR genes, and then we have got green revolution. In 1965, we were in the begging bowl, and today, 2022, we are able to export. And suddenly, after the Ukraine war, a lot of wheat exports were going, and then the wheat prices started increasing. So we had to protect the domestic wheat consumption, and therefore we have now very temporarily yesterday after they put a ban on the thing. So similarly, in Sri Lanka, the crisis was the pursuit of 100% organic food, and then banning imports of chemicals and pesticides. I think I've given you a link here. This has led to the disaster, but India is not going that way, please. That's why today's session on natural farming prospects and issues, I wish to say the core approaches here are going to be having the support systems in mind, the organic seed system, the non-pesticidal management, especially preserving the predators and parasites. See, I'll give a small example, a simple example to drive home the point. You know that snakes feeds on the frogs and frogs feed on the insects. And that is how, a natural food chain is going to control your insects. See, suppose you kill all the frogs and your pest population is going to increase. So that is no big natural farming. Suppose the frog population becomes too much and you cannot enter the field, and everywhere the frogs are here and you're trampling on them. Obviously, I think people have caught the snakes and killed them. So therefore, the forward linkages and the support system, what I'm saying is adaptive cropping systems. And I told you climate responsive varieties, breeds and all that, and not only input responsive. Obviously, the inputs are there. But, today we have a record 282 to, we are roughly around 300 million metric tons in agriculture and 328 million metric tons in horticulture. Not just self-sufficient, we are excess. We have a glut sort of situation. We don't know what is the value chain. Whereas, so therefore, going into natural farming and then also having a sustainable continuous increase in the yield over the years is what we are looking at in natural farming. Obviously, the water and moisture management, I told you, rejuvenating your lakes, rejuvenating your soils, rejuvenating the flora, the fauna, and obviously the integrating livestock. So I'll just quickly give you, see, there are two methods, the anaerobic fermentation and the aerobic fermentation. See, suppose, this poultry, the poultry excreta and all, you have to do anaerobic fermentation, then only the toxicity is going to be removed. See, otherwise, the other method of composting is the aerobic farming, the Narayan Pada. I'll give you that example, the farmer who has developed that particular composting system. So that's how we have to do it. So this is how you are going to keep your flora and fauna intact. And obviously, we'll have some sort of seed mapping for everything. Don't think bringing hybrids from Indo-American hybrid or myco hybrid is the answer. Then non-pesticidal management, obviously the neem seed kernel extract. And then, people have been using Jeevamritam, Bijamritam. I'll show you all that. So all natural pesticides, which are very coherent with the nature, this is actually the crux of the whole natural farming. So nutrient recycling. See, obviously, there is a lot of organic matter in the soil. Obviously, the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, they are the basic nutrient. The NPK is the primary macronutrient. Then you have calcium, magnesium, sulfur, then the micronutrient, iron. See, many of the elements may be there, but they are unable to get recycled and uptake cannot be there if organic content is not there. And the organic content simply does not come like that unless, you have got some sort of, we say the carbon credit. So all those issues are very, very important. I will quickly study the soil structure, the chemical and biological properties, and don't kill any of them. See, there is some sort of, a symbiotic relationship existing in the soil. Soil is a live medium. See, don't try to kill them. See, it is like your plant. It is like your own human body. Just because you require carbohydrates, simply you cannot drink Pepsi and live. You require roughage for, for better absorption and, for better digestive system. So you require many other things for better absorption. See, for example, you may take external influence, you may be a sugar patient, but still there are so many natural diet processes which go in the big form of nutrient recycling. So very quickly we go ahead. 95% come from the basic and nutrient, 5% micronutrient, although they may be small in number, okay, they still cause, and you have to do better nutrient recycling, especially the chemical fertilizers coming through NPK. See, today we have got a lot of organic matter also coming. The mineral matter and organic matter will help you to get the secondary macronutrients absorbed, especially microbes, earthworms, and all that I've been telling. So now the organic seed system, no genetically modified organisms or, putting a BT gene. See, one day, there may be resurgence. So there are even to control a small BT population, there are so many local varieties. It might give a less yield, but, you can definitely have such sort of organic seed systems which are available and more climate sensitive rather than input sensitive. And, you should be able to search these sort of things, creating value for your diversity and having organic seed hubs and all that. Everything is not simply hybridization. So now the seed mapping, it's a participatory seed mapping. There are a lot of villagers who sit and say that which is good for which season. See, look how we have done this PRA processes and how people do. These are all going in the line of the natural farming and climate responsive rather than input responsive. So now there are so many innovations in, especially, we say climate resilient crops, and then, we also say seed producers, on-farm conservation. So all these issues are going to come, especially climate resilience. So we are more bothered about climate in the natural farming. Okay, like Chirapunji, it has the highest rainfall, but there is no soil or method to conserve the moisture. So what is the use of that? So indigenous seeds for climate change. See, today, on resilience, very, very important. So rather than bringing an external variety and trying to make it climate resilient. So people, even in rice also, you got hundreds of varieties, some for the hilly region, the upland region, and the submerged region, and so on and so forth. So people have found out these rice land races, and then they have to bring the natural farming into picture. So these are all some of the issues, and even multi-location trials people have been concentrating, especially from the NBPGR and all that. We have a lot of things. Then water and moisture management, I told you how the lakes are getting killed, maybe for urbanization, or you are not aware of the aquifers, or you do not know the recharge thing, or you are really not aware what is a borewell and what is a tube well. And, you should keep all those natural aquifers in view and allow them to get recharged. Otherwise, you're going to kill your own ecosystem. So, and monitoring the weather parameters, the soil moisture. So all issues are going a very big way in the natural farming issue. Non-pesticidal management, obviously when you put light traps, okay, not just killing the insect through the pesticide, maybe the pheromone traps, the light traps, the sticky traps, and then identifying the predators and the parasites. Okay, all these issues are going to help you for the natural farming, and then you will have very, very less disturbance in the, especially the tuta absoluta, we use light trap. Tuta absoluta has become a very major pest, and IIHR has been working very heavily on that. Then integrating livestock, I told you, obviously collection of dung, and then the poultry excreta and all that. I told you how it should be done in an anaerobic farming, and then obviously preparing microbial cultures out of cattle dung. That is the crux of the Jivamritam, Bijamritam, and Ghanamritam. I'll show you in the subsequent. So organic farming relies on farm-made products and biofertilizers and biopesticides. So natural farming relies on farm-made products. It may be ZPNF is also the same thing. I published 2-3 papers on that. Zero-based natural farming. Okay, then the people call it by different names. Okay, community managed natural farming. Okay, the FPOs, SCGs are also coming in a big way. Community resource products are also doing it. Then climate smart agriculture, building resilience, mitigation, adaptation, and resilience, non-pesticide management. That's one of the other focus, sustainable agriculture. See, you should get something. See, you should not rely on only 1 or 2 inputs. See, what all you do, you take for food, you take carbohydrates, proteins, fats, roughages. Okay, you take micronutrients, biofortified crops, so on and so forth. So that's actually called as biodynamic farming. So permaculture, okay, we design certain farm so that, permanently you have some mulching system, the green manure in place, the aquifers in place, and the drainage points, and then how the whole recharge process is going to take place. So then, the natural principle, Jivo, Jivasya Jivanam, that means there is a food chain, which I told you, I have already given a very small example, how the birds feed on the locust, and then snakes feeds on the birds, and then the like that, you should understand the food chain, the food pyramid, the predators, the parasites, and then work on this. You will be maintaining diversity, better soil management, encourage natural enemies, understanding pest behavior, and all the natural principle in nature. Today, neem seed kernel extract, neem powder, oh my God, we have hundreds of such things getting commercial. The soil food web also. See what feeds on the other, you should be able to understand. If you put certain insecticide or nematicide, and you are going to kill the important good nematodes, and you are going to kill the important good insects, and you're also going to kill the fungi, the mycorrhiza, the protozoans, and the bacteria, which are at the second trophic level or the first trophic level, there's no point. So therefore, understanding the food web, the natural predators, the parasites are of utmost importance in natural farming. So the food crisis has started because of high cost, production and marketing risks are there, very food insecurity. Okay, all this has led, and the greenhouse gases are also responsible. Therefore, the natural farming is going to augment and supplement the other farming. I am not asking you to reduce your yields and do that. But out of the three, the big farmers, the small farmers, and the marginal farmers, small farmers go for natural farming and preserving these things. And maybe if you are a commercial farmer, you have to go for the polyhouse or the greenhouse cultivation, protected cultivation. And today IIHR, we also talk about the soilless cultivation, the aquaponics, the cocoa peat, and so on and so forth. So now the zero-based natural farming, we say Bijamritam was treating something for the seeds. Jivamritam, especially with cow urine and all that, we make this Achadana, Vafasa, all these things are going to put as soil amendments and, enrich the soil. I'll show you how this is going to help in resilience and the soil carbon enhancement, carbon credits. Obviously, some little yields may be reduced, but diverse crops and lower costs. The lower costs are going to give you higher returns and obviously yields after a long run. Okay. So now, understanding this zero-based natural farming and the dynamics which are involved in the carbon capture mechanism, okay, and all these things, when you study very quickly, okay, the 30% of sugars move into the soil as exudates, okay, therefore you require a lot of microbial population that makes plant healthy. So the symbiotic relationship, just like the rhizobium and the pea plant, that's only for the nitrogen fixing. There, even for the other elements also, there are beneficial organisms which will have to do it. So it contains an enormous, soils are just live. We don't say soil is dead. You have bacteria, protozoa, fungi, nematodes, and arthropods. We are very beneficial. Try to conserve them, try to conserve the natural enemies. And we should definitely be a student of zoology and biology and obviously of agriculture to understand this sort of mechanism. So now, the macrofauna, the macroflora, the microfauna, okay, all these things, okay, the acetonomyces, fungi, algae, all these things have to be conserved and preserved. You cannot kill one for the other. Let me tell you, when we say earthworm is a farmer's friend, and you're going to put some nematicide, which is also going to kill the earthworm. So nematodes may be a problem. So therefore, we have come out with this NPV, nucleopolyhedron viruses, and then the biological control for nematicide, because any inorganic nematicide is also going to kill the earthworms and some of the ants and grubs. So be very careful when you do this, gentlemen. Soil fertility management. So we say NADEP structure. I'll tell you what is this NADEP structure very quickly. Ghana Jivamritam, we'll just quickly go. NADEP structure, actually, it is a aerobic fermentation process of method of making compost. How, one layer of dung, one layer of organic matter. I'll be showing in the very next set. So it's going to be an enabling environment for the earthworms and the microbial inoculum coming to the dung and all that. So soil fertility management, obviously, people have been preparing the Panchagavya. I told you, with cow urine. Okay, people add milk and so many other things. I'll show you one by one. Jivamritam. So a lot of good microbial green manure, especially Sesbania and all that. Mixed and intercropping so that it will fix some amount of nitrogen. Then we have biofertilizers coming. Okay, a lot of ARCA microbial consortia. ARCA means they are the technologies of IIHR. We have the microbial consortia. Then all the sheep, goat, and poultry manure, we should do the anaerobic fermentation. I've been telling you. So very quickly, I'll tell you the Bijamritam. For 100 kg use, we use 20 liters of urine, 5 liters, cow dung 5 kg, lime 50 gram. And then we are going to soak the seed for about a whole night. Then Jivamritam, obviously, is again cow dung, jaggery, and then, we covered the jute bag, and after 10 days of mixing, a lot of microbial growth is going to be there. You can apply it for the, along with the virgin soil. Ghana Jivamritam, obviously, this is another consortia with cow urine. People had even basin flow 2 kgs, 2 kg of jaggery, and virgin soil, especially the uncultivated, which has very rich in microflora and fauna, cow dung 100 kg. So that is Ghana Jivamritam. So I'll now show you the NADEP method. Okay, how the composting aerobic fermentation takes place. The NADEP method means Narayan Devrai Pandri He is a Maharashtra farmer who developed this method. Look at this. See, he constructs a tank like this with a lot of aeration. I have to see the holes here. The first layer is whatever the organic waste. The second layer, you put a cow dung. Third layer, you put soil. Fourth layer, you put again the waste. Okay, second layer, you put the dung, and third layer again by the soil. So by doing this, and every fortnightly, there is some sort of mixing. We make this. This is called aerobic compost. This is also called as the NADEP method. We can be using it. So Panchagavya, again, obviously, we, just a minute, I'll just, people use even coconut water, cow dung, cow urine, toddy, okay, cow milk, then ripened bananas, cow milk, water, jaggery. See, all these things are going to enhance your, in the Panchagavya, when you use it in the soil, and when the application is there, my goodness, the soil becomes a microbiology lab. It's a very highly enriched sort of activity. Green manure, I told you, sesbania, sun hemp, already we're putting. So that's how we keep the soils alive. So how to do soil sample, I'm not going to tell. See, now we should also understand, suppose you are working with a clay soil, the natural farming, the moisture is spread horizontally. When a loamy soil, it is almost spread somewhat like this. In the sandy soil, it is spread vertically. So based on this movement of how the water moves, so you have to enhance your structures, and you should have more porous and other pits in a sandy soil, whereas in clay soil, because the trickle down is, it's a montmorillite or illite or whatever. So you can have a different sort of the broad bed and furrow to conserve moisture, or in a sand, you will have more sort of perforation, and the ridge and furrow should be a very better method. So look at this. See, obviously, we don't expect the soils to be more than 2 or 3 feet. So when I say the bedrock, nothing grows on this. On this, we have the parent material where some withering is going on, and then the subsoil, we say. So obviously, O, A, and D are the, these are the most fertile things, and the topsoil is the one which is very, very creamy for the natural farming. You have to enrich the topsoil and not kill the topsoil. So this is what we've been saying, obviously, for nitrogen fixation, then phosphorus solubilization with mycorrhiza and so on. But we have been talking a lot about this. So instead of putting bare soil, we should have some sort of cover crop. Nowadays, even the plastic mulches are also coming. So instead of plastic mulch, which is again inorganic in nature, polyethylene sheets, oxidation and decomposition, you can have a natural cover which goes in natural farming. We said soils are dying. So what is the difference between dirt and soils? So life is there in soils, and okay, now we'll quickly go. Just like, you analyze a patient. So the companies are going to come and say that by putting more pesticide, my soil has been killed. And by putting all the inorganic fertilizers, my soil microflora and fauna is lost. That's what this particular slide is going to say. Therefore, today we say that the soils are in the ICU, and can it really sustain the future agriculture? So most of it, soil has become a dumping ground for all these things, and therefore there's urgent need for rejuvenation. So we say that now even in the topsoil also, the rainfed areas depend on the top layers of the soil, and obviously it has to be done. See how the root system penetrates. Obviously, when you have a deeper root system, okay, so the percolation is going to be better. So you have to be using very you should observe both the transpiration, irrigation, the rainfall, the runoff. We say the Penman formula, that's how it's going to work. And the capillaries should rise, and there should be deeper percolation. rather than just the subsurface flow. Okay. So the soil food web also, we have already discussed this. Soil aggregation, that is soil aggregation refers to, role of microbes in the soil, especially changing the structure and making it highly flora and fauna oriented and high soil aeration. So that's also going to improve our natural farming. So the requirement is increasing soil organic matter. So obviously you should have in situ biomass generation. We should reduce the evaporation and soil losses. Obviously soil cover mulch has to be done, not just using the plastic sheets. So the soil temperatures have to be reduced. So you should have soil cover for all 365. Just because today there's no crop, you cannot leave the soil bare. It is something like you're at home. It's not that you will not wear any cloth or dress. You have to cover your body and the soil. So very important concept in natural farming for soil organic matter. Life in microbes, enhance the biological activity. Okay, both deep and shallow rooted, we have already told. So by giving biostimulant, Bijamritam, Jivamritam, and all this foliar application, you are going to improve the life in soil and microbes. So actually no tillage, don't do any tillage and disturb. So that's also called zero tillage concept we used to tell. So erosion through runoff. So every now and then you should avoid the erosion. You should actually put across the bunds, okay, both in situ and other soil conservation measures, reduce the velocity of the runoff. So we can actually have earthen pebble bunds or bunding and these sort of structures. See how the Bijamritam, Ghanamritam, they're all prepared. See everywhere, cow dung getting accumulated, collected to the people and by the people. I've already told you, this is the actual the tank which is going to prepare your Jivamritam. See how they put the cow urine and then the other material, jaggery and all that. And then they ferment it for 15 days and then the fermented and then the clear liquid is going to come. This they are going to store in bottles and give a spray. So this is how the preparation of Drava Jivamritam. Okay, Deshi cow dung and cow urine, jaggery, pulse flour and a mould clay 250 grams they're going to use. And then there are some local shops are also going to be set up in the villages. People have been doing this. Okay, and then you see there are big units to do this thing, and the both the foliar spray and the soil application is going to take place. So, I was just giving an example of the electric bull. So two engineers have made this. See, what is the difference between a bull and the tractor? Whether bull is better or the tractor is better. For natural farming, especially, when it has to remove only the weeds and not touch the crops. Okay, this is how it works. You see, it has a small thing and very highly it is suitable for our Indian agriculture. They have developed it. So absolutely no disturbance with minimum disturbance to the soil. We have to control the weeds and effectively. This is the YouTube you can always watch. So we have been giving a lot of skill training to rural youth, natural farming, and Madhya Pradesh tops the chart in natural farming area. So climate mitigation needs India's ancient food and farming. See, for example, today wherever you go in Bangalore, we have Halli Mane, Tindi Mane, we have this Ragi ball and we have Jawar meals. Okay, that's Vandana Shiva and the visual, and even Tamil Nadu and other places, you had your own, the local foods, they have to be preserved. When the local foods are preserved, you will ask for the grain and then that's how the conservation is going to take place. Why should everybody eat oats and barley, which is not natural to India? So this is the whole issue here, natural farming. So obviously how I'm going to bring this behavior change, it is only through participation of the people, because people have to be convinced, and definitely farmers are more participatory. Okay, it is only the big multinational companies which are just marketing the fertilizers, seeds, and all the. Of course, during the Green Revolution, we wanted a lot of food production, and today we have come out with 300 million metric tons in agri and 328 million tons in horti. So obviously, we are now in a safer position. We have to make the entire natural farming a community-led movement. It should be highly contextual. What works in Tamil Nadu may not work in a hilly region in Karnataka. So you embrace diversity, both in terms of seed, grain, and the local knowledge already it's available. Have a lot of empathy in natural farming with the flora and fauna. So obviously we promote farmer-to-farmer extension. And then through radio, AR, community radio, also we've been doing it, and especially during festivals, melas and events, we are promoting the local organic food. Then social media, also a lot of awareness coming through TV and newspaper as well. So power of farmer stories. Okay, look at this, Padmavati, she's one of the natural farming thing, and she provides nutrition to her children through natural farming. Soon she also started natural manure in fallow land behind their hut, which had remained unprotected. See, a lot of See, people are only lazy to collect the cow dung. Otherwise, lot of cow dung, then the goat feces, the sheep, the penning of sheep. I think many of you are not knowing. We may all be BSc Agri guys. See, in the villages, what they do, penning of sheep, they allow about 100, 150 sheep to go and, uh, put the fecal matter in a land, and they are paid some money for it. See, that is how the enrichment takes place. Okay. So community resources, it may be seed, it may be seed mapping, it may be locally available organic matter for feed, fodder. All those things are available, and you have to map it. And then these are your community resources, both water bodies, aquifers, tanks, Jivamritam, Ghanamritam, Bijamritam, and all these things are also put in the corner. Just have a look at it. So you can rejuvenate your thing. And over the years, okay, initially you may have less yield. See, total organic, we are not just going only for marketing and putting a premium rate for the organic matter and to sell it in big bazaar or supermarket in Bangalore and Chennai. But our aim is to improve the flora and fauna in the nature and go with that sort of things. So resource cycling, natural farming shops are also come up in villages where, they sell this Bijamritam, Ghanamritam and all that. So friends, this was in a nutshell about how we do natural farming. To conclude very quickly, I'll just open it for discussion. Rajani ma'am has just given me half an hour. To conclude, I wish to say that natural farming does not mean, okay, that totally inorganic. See, earlier, you depend LEIA, that is least external input oriented agriculture, number one. Second thing is, it is a climate resilient, climate sensitive, climate responsive farming. And the third one is, okay, we are going to improve the flora and fauna of the natural habitats. And I told you, preservation of the predators and parasites and the natural enemies, understanding the food web. And that goes a very, very long way. And then even after understanding all this biological dynamics of the natural farming, if at all some input is there which is going to be compatible with the existing natural farming prototypes, you can put it. So we are not going to be, but at any cost, we say that it should be culturally acceptable, environmentally sensitive. That is the two buzzwords we are going to use in natural farming. I told you I've been a national trainer for natural farming, certified trainer. And then I conclude this saying that natural farming, not like the Sri Lanka way, don't ban chemicals and fertilizers. There are a few set of farmers who are doing commercial farming, and that let them do it. And at the same time, side by side, there are so many small and marginal farmers and agricultural laborers who are interested to do this Jivamritam, Ghanamritam and all that, and who are going to rejuvenate our soils. And small shops like this in villages are going to come up. And that is how we are going to get an environmentally friendly, ecologically sustainable, okay, natural farming products, which is going to be in tune with the flora, fauna of the local area, and also going to be climate responsive rather than input responsive. Thank you very much. I stop share and then I open it for discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for a detailed presentation. I'll take up the questions now. Okay, so the first question is, in our farm, we went for natural farming and yield was low. We need a loss. How to continue with natural farming?
Fine. So this is the exact question what even Sri Lanka people faced very recently. See, I have done a study where, see, in the initial 2-3 years, there is a loss. So therefore, after that, people say it increases. Okay, I have also observed in some farms. How many years old is your farm?
Okay, the participant hasn't mentioned about this.
Yeah, see, now I asked the participant. See, normally, it goes with the biological S-shaped curve, the law of diminishing returns. See, initial years, the yields are going to be low. That is till the organic content picks up. This is the climb. Okay, you can definitely, natural farming lecture I given does not mean that I'm an authority on natural farming and I'm going to vouch for each and everything which is given. But now the participant can quickly say, and the claims made by the NADEP method or whatever method, it says after 3 to 4 years when the there's enough organic content, and when the absorptions are better, it will give normal yields as compared to the input responsive yields. That is the claim. I think I've answered him. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next question is, few years ago, it was all about green revolution. Is that over now?
Yeah. See, now the word green revolution, after 1991, when P.V. Narasimha Rao came out with the liberalization, and then we have opened a market economy. Today, we say it is an evergreen revolution and a white revolution with a blue revolution. See, today, when the economies have opened up, we really, very sorry to make this statement. We really need not we put about 80 million metric tons in our National Food Security Mission in our FCI godowns. We don't need. So make it climate responsive, make it natural, even if the yields are less, attract a premium price. And always when there is food, when there is shortage of food, you can import it. But I don't know whether that is the correct proposition. See, recently what happened after the Ukraine war, when a lot of wheat was getting exported, suddenly our National Food Security Mission godowns in the food corporation, the wheat stock started reducing. Immediately yesterday, day before, our government has put a ban on the wheat exports. So I think self-sufficiency is the first key, and then natural farming, and along with the yield, at no cost we can go the Sri Lanka way, and we cannot reduce our yields less than 300 million metric tons of agri and 328 million metric tons of horticulture. So self-sufficiency, food production, and sovereignty is the utmost importance. Thank you.
Okay. So will natural farming ensure the food security of India?
The food security of India is already ensured. See, natural farming is a movement. It is something like, I'll give a very rare example. It is something like, the people claim that, their diabetes can be reversed without insulin. So there are some people who take insulin as well as they also do the diet. They take more fiber. They take low glycemic foods, okay, which is going to digest slowly. So an augmented approach, a multiple approach is the way. So natural farming alone will not replace. We are not asking natural farming to replace the existing farming. The existing farming will continue, because I'm a national trainer and I've been told to tell these sort of statements. The existing farming continues, but the natural farming improves the flora and fauna and the absorption and the carbon footprinting and the carbon bank balance and so on. That's how it's going to work. It is going to supplement and augment, and definitely it is not going to replace. Thank you.
Okay. So can you give an example of good farms in Karnataka where natural farming is a successful commercial success story?
Fine. See, for example, there is one Bija Samriddhi, it's an NGO which works in Mysore. So what they've done is, you and me also would have eaten this nowadays, and there are so many minor millets, which are not available today. And especially, I'll give you that address of that particular person. He was also a national trainer. They are based at Mysore. So what these NGOs have done is, they have done seed mapping and collected a lot of locally available millets and all that, which are having very, very low glycemic index. And then they are trying to market it. And today people are buying those seeds, especially the minor millets, and they're using it. They're available in our supermarket. They're also having a supply chain and a value chain. They have a marketing network. So definitely, instead of taking barley and oats, which are highly imported, people are promoting our minor millets. See, for example, one of my students, we are now running a fortified bajra project. See, for example, there's a lot of iron deficiency, anemic situation in pregnant and lactating mothers. So now we have fortified the bajra, and which is high iron oriented. So totally an organic farming with less inputs, people can augment this fortification. They've been doing it. Even IFCO is doing commercially. So I'm one of the consultants for IFCO, and this Kharif season will be taking this iron fortified bajra production on a very large scale. On 500 acres we are taking. Thank you.
Okay. And the last question is, what are some new research going on in IIHR in the area of natural farming?
Yeah, fine. A very important question, and positioning our IIHR in a big thing. See, we work on 2-3 things. First is we work on soilless cultivation. So even on the C and D class lands, we use our coco peat. We say Arca fermented coco peat. Okay, I'll give you the number of Dr. Selva Kumar, who is our soil scientist. So we convert this fermented cocoa peat. We have a AMC, Arca Microbial Consortia, which is highly bioinoculant. So by putting this, even without soil, we can do it. And totally hydroponics. See, the roots will be actually dipping in a in a beaker of water. So, and we supply the nutrients there. So that's how in a polyhouse and a protected cultivation, we are doing this sort of farming. No need of soil at all. That's how we are able to come out with 328 million metric tons. Vertical farming. We also say peri-urban horticulture farming. See, I will show you some of the farms, my own colleagues. You know, they just have a 30-40 site and they have built 2 floors. And on the 3rd floor, they have totally put all this aquaponics and they put on potted cultivation. They supply nutrients from outside using cocoa peat and all, you know, organic consortia, liquid form, aerial spray. So we have been giving all that. You will get excellently. No need of soil. Let all the soil be conserved and used for other things. We have been doing it. It's available at IIHR. You can get in touch with me. I'll give you the link of the person. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, sir. We don't see any further questions from our participants. So now we have come to end of question round. Agricultureinformation.com likes to thank Dr. K Jayaraghavendra Rao for a very detailed presentation and answering all the questions in detail. And we also like to thank all the participants for joining this meeting. The meeting will now be closed.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.